Today, we're going to start with an overview of post-employment notice pay and taking a step back so that we have a clear understanding of how the concept of post-employment notice pay came about and why it was implemented. I'm then going to spend the next 20 minutes or so looking at what we mean by post-employment notice pay, the statutory framework, and how we go about calculating post-employment notice pay. I'll then touch on last year's, so 2021 developments and the impact of those. And then we'll work through a couple of examples to kind of reinforce that learning and finish off today with some tricky areas and some FAQs. Now, before we look at the calculation for post-employment notice pay and what must be taxed, what amount must be taxed, it's worth quickly just pausing to have some clarity on when post-employment notice pay will and will not apply. So remember that we are only concerned with unworked notice periods after termination of employment. And post-employment notice pay will need to be considered if there is any unworked notice period and where there is a relevant termination payment, a relevant termination award. So it follows that post-employment notice pay will not need to be considered if there is a payment under a contractual pylon, but no additional termination award, or if there's a statutory redundancy payment, which is carved out. There's also no need to calculate post-employment pay where the employee works their full notice period or is placed on garden leave, or where the employee only receives a payment in lieu of notice and no ex gratia or termination payment, as there would be no relevant termination award. So as the post-employment notice period is not a whole number of months, it's 5 weeks, we're looking at the standard formula. So we said that the p-value would be the number of days in the pay period at 30.42. So Joe's post-employment notice pay is calculated using the standard formula. Again, you can see it there on the slide. We've got 5,000, which represents Joe's basic pay. We times that by 35, which is the number of days in the unworked notice period. And then we divide that by 30.42. And then we take away the element of contractual pylon. So that's 5,770. And we actually end up with a minus figure. So what this means is that the whole of Joe's termination payment of £20,000 will therefore benefit from the £30,000 tax and national insurance exemption, as the PEMP value is lower. So there would be no amount attributable to post-employment notice pay.